Hello and welcome to ClovenCast, the podcast show where we have no intro. We're your hosts. I'm Spirit. Would the rest of the lovely ladies like to introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm Christy.
Hi, I'm Springheart. I sound like a frog.
It's
and
okay,
I have a
me
new
too.
mic.
Yes, Christy's gotten all the upgrades lately, and we're very proud of her.
Yay!
Thank you, because my audio quality has been abysmal for a few years.
But today on the ClovenCast, we'll be talking about things not to say to your idols. So, Christy, you're first up on the roster today, so would you like to share some stories about some not-so-savory fans?
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, as a disclaimer, whenever I go to conventions, or at least, before the coronavirus decided to happen, I usually take my boyfriend with me, not only as arm candy, but I have to double him as a bodyguard in some cases, because one of my biggest fears is based on, things that happen to, people at conventions, oh, you get a cookie with a razor blade in it, or you encounter a fan who's just a little bit more unsavory, or somebody who's flat out wants to kill you. Stuff. And I have a big strong man here, my big strong himbo man, in order to knock those people out in case something happens, because he's just that strong. But I guess it's just more based on some personal experiences that I've had at conventions where I was alone. And yeah, some creepy people who hug for too long, or one time a guy stroked my leg.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was sitting down and they were looking up at me and just kind of rubbing my leg. They said it was unconscious, but I still don't believe them to this day. And Spring, please try not to have a heart attack or something.
Nope, I'm just gonna vomit over here. That's fine.
I have that mental image of it, and I don't know why, but my brain just you know that feeling of chills up your spine, like the gross, like the that's a bad feeling. I just had that in my brain.
Yeah, I had that whole entire mentality of, is this not okay? Should I say something? And I did, and then they immediately noticed it, but it was like, bruh, no,
personal bubble.
Yeah, I mean, I was taking a break or whatever and just kind of sitting on the side, but it's like, dude, stop. And they did, but it's still that whole entire fear of other people that I kind of have. So it's come to a point where it's like, here, you are my boyfriend and I love you very much, but you are also bodyguard because people be creepy. Yeah.
So it's kind of almost like that fear of people, it's the fear of ulterior motive almost, right?
Yeah, kind of like a Perfect Blue situation, and I always call it a Perfect Blue situation because that movie deals in the obsession of stalkers and whatnot from people admiring other people, and that's why that's kind of why I have that fear, because it is a very real fear, especially in today's society full of internet people where you kind of start as a regular person, but now you have an online personality, and yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but those shots from that movie came into my head as you were describing that convention experience. Just that movie perfectly, and
it encapsulates everything I'm describing.
That's the one where it's the author gets kidnapped, right? Or am I thinking of something else?
Like an idol.
It's like an idol going insane. It's by Satoshi Kon, who's also done Paprika and Paranoia Agent.
I think it was the 90s, early 20s, every anime music video had shots from it. It was so well animated.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, I don't think I've seen it, but I've got that on my radar now because I think it sounds familiar, but my brain can't put two and two together for some reason.
Well, but yeah, long story short, protection, because I don't know how other people are going to react when they see me, because it could be like one of two things. It could be, oh hey, it's Animechristy, can I have a hug? And I'm a very huggy person. People say I give really warm hugs whenever I see them at conventions, but then there are the people who just get a little too personal, or even the people who flat out will hate you to the point where they want to kill you, and those people are dangerous. It's kind of unlikely to happen, but still, it is something to be cautious of whenever you go to conventions or any public space. Anyways, so that's my thing.
Well, and I guess kind of like for you, like a lot of your story revolves around like contact and people being creepy about like because like I totally feel you on the whole like hugging at conventions. Like I was one who would give hugs out like when I was at BronyCon. I like to go and like peers in the community. It's just like, hello, yes, you get a hug, and then I give them a hug, or I ask them if they want a hug, and then but it's like there's people who will hug for too long, and it's just like you're sitting there and. That's just kind of the thing is that like my brother and I we give each other longer hugs because we're just used to it. But like when a stranger does it, it's just like, okay, you got your hug that's supposed to last for like a second. You don't hold on to me for like a minute.
Unless it's us, then we get longer hugs in a second, right?
Yes, we are good friends and we know each other well.
Yes, I would consider you and my Christy a friend.
Yes, okay.
You have reached friend level.
Because I don't want to reach creeper levels.
No, you have reached friend level. I will tell you that right now. On the record.
Well, we are recording, so quite literally.
Yeah.
But I guess centering into my general points on this whole topic is that like I'm kind of in a similar boat with you, Christy, but it's actually more or less I don't like when people, and this is a really weird thing, is that so I had a moment the other day where like one of my patrons just casually complimented my hair. And I had this moment where it's like confused screaming. It's just like I don't understand why. Cuz like I've had people like, and this is why I would recommend if you are a safe for work artist or someone especially with a female character, be careful about how you draw them online because people will like some people will sexualize them and they'll some people this is the thing is that one of the things that I worry about when going to conventions like as you were saying is that if people have ulterior motives. So and that's the thing is that I don't like I'm weird about contact now because like I've had people who will hold me in a hug for longer than usual or make it a little too intimate. And it's just like I my brain immediately goes to like is this someone like because I can never understand or register properly if someone is like trying to either sexualize me or something like that, and I don't like it when people do that. You know? And I guess like I guess if I had to make a point also, it's just don't ever, like, if you are a fan of someone and you think that their character is attractive, like, unless they're explicitly making artwork made to make their character look appealing in that manner, then don't tell them why you find them sexually appealing. It comes off as creepy, especially towards female characters or, like, and I think, Spring, you've seen this happen before where, like, someone will have a safer work character, but just because you talk in a not safe for work channel, it's just, like, you can appreciate the art form, but when someone will, like, talk about your character in a not safe for work fashion or try to, like, push their fetishes onto your character, it's just, like, just gonna block and ban. Thank you.
Like some horny bullshit over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna quick slide in here, no context, but if a creator is in a not safe for work chat and they have, just a character, you like the character, don't be like, "Hey, I I like your character and I would like to fantasize them in some not safe for work context." If that person has never explicitly said that character is not safe for work, if that character is a safe for work character, don't tell me that you want to see them all sexy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I
That is the
guess I
most.
don't have much to add in this conversation other than like,
That
okay,
is.
so
Oh.
how do I explain this?
Knee-jerk reaction. Just.
I actually had to take off a character of mine from being like sexualized further because there was a time where somebody actually decided to how do I say this in the most sanitary way? I don't think it's possible.
Did they draw or commission porn of your character without consent?
No, it wasn't that. However, they did, take the art that I made and try to make like their own crappy version of like my character in order to roleplay as me.
Ugh.
What?
Yeah. And I was fine with it at first, like, yeah, I don't see the problem. But then I found out that they were a no, and then it's like, you know what? Lesson learned. I'm never letting anybody do this I'm never letting anybody do this again.
So they were impersonating your character?
It was more like sexual roleplay or whatever in Twitter DMs and shit. It was like a Muse thing, but it was like, you know what? I was cool with this at first, but now I'm not. So please don't ever use my character again. And I don't think I'll be drawing my character in this manner anymore.
That's gross.
Because I'm just done with the horny bullshit.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Honestly, I know my point kind of got made before, but I did actually want to share a little bit.
Yeah.
So
please.
y'all know Spirit, like my original character that I had for my channel for a while before I switched over to the Imp.
Yep.
So obviously, like, here's the thing: I don't allow not safe for work art of her anymore, and there's a very explicit reason why. Is that I've been pinged in channels where people have made porn of her without my consent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I've had cases where I will log into a chat and it's just like, because this is a thing, and this is another thing too, is that I think one of the difficult things about being a content creator is that, like, even if you, like, that's the thing, is that I have absolutely no disrespect to, like, the craft of NSFW art. I actually really respect it because it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that, like, if you're a larger content creator, you're not allowed to, like, in a sense, like, if you want porn of your character, you're not really allowed to have it, because then people will take it as a sign to be like, oh, this person is, like, open season now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, something like that similarly has happened to like a bigger content creator named Jaden Animations and whatnot. There's like so much porn of her, and I feel bad.
Yeah.
Wait, there's porn of Jaden?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I know that everything will eventually get sexualized and turned into porn later, but it's like, man, it's different because it's actually a real person and they have like an avatar, and it's a little bit more difficult to, you know,
God, just I feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like sometimes I just don't know what to say about that, because it's like I'm under the roof of I make NSFW art and stuff, but I also have like a completely new character now, like that's outside of that represents me more. And I leave like the other one in the NSFW baby corner, I guess. That sounds so contradictory to NSFW art in general.
No, I mean, you're allowed to have a sexy fun time character and a safe for work character.
A lot of people have dedicated After Dark characters.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
your audience needs to understand that some characters you don't want to be sexualized. Like at least for me, like Spirit's character, Spirit, it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, like your Sona,
Mm-hmm.
that represents you. And at a point in time you wanted to do sexy and then you decided not to do sexy anymore. And it's like, you don't want to see sexy of yourself. Like
Yeah, like I'm pretty comfortable with like my old character Safi being sexualized, but when it comes to like the current avatar I represent now, not so much.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
think.
it's like,
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. Like it varies from creator to creator, but you need to figure that out before you just go in and like, oh, I want to get commission art of this like creators. If the creator's not making the sexy art of the character, that's sign one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if their after dark art is gone, if that account's gone, sign two.
Well, and that's another thing too, is that I think maybe just like as a policy of
Mm-hmm.
I think as a policy for artists who have a character, they like we just keep in mind it's okay to have like a terms of service or a policy page saying I don't want this in my character, I don't want that of my character, because in the event that someone does commission art or does draw art that you are uncomfortable with, you can reference that as a means of like I have it very explicitly here. I am not comfortable with that. Please take that down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Spring, I think you have a few stories that you'd like to share as well.
Not exactly story, more like situations. All right, so, all right, here's the tea. Here's my tea for the day.
Oh boy, let me get my drink,
Get
which
your
totally
tea,
isn't tea.
ladies,
I don't have to either.
gals, non-binary pals. I just drank some good old H2O. Are we ready for this?
Yes.
Give me the tea,
All
girl.
right. Calling your idols or your whatever you want to call them, your friend. So you gals can pipe in after I'm done my little spiel.
Fair enough.
But calling us your friends, at least, or calling like me your friend before I've made that relationship step, is really big for me. At least for me, this has been happening a lot, and every time it happens, I get like this really like knee jerk reaction, and usually it's in like a voice call or on Twitter, and I just smile and nod because I literally do not know how to respond. So if you're listening to this and you're not sure if we're friends or we're on the road to becoming friends, here's a sure way to know. Here's a question that you can ask yourself. Do I, as in Spring Heart, know anything about you that isn't your content or your business? And if the answer is no, then we are likely fellow content creators, aka coworkers, uh, or have a different type of relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I don't think anything less of you, but we aren't on that level of thing. Cause like for me, I don't call like anyone I've talked to just like a few times as a friend. I know like casual friends are a thing, but for me, if you reach the friendship level, you can basically have like a friend for life if you want, because provided you aren't like an asshole and you burn the bridge yourself, because friendship is like a really important like intimate's probably not the word I'm looking for, but like it's a really personal thing for me. And yeah, so that's been happening a lot to me lately, that people are just throwing that word around, and I know it probably means different things for different people, but like for me being a somewhat introvert person, it means a lot to me. So also don't just tag people on Twitter. This part hasn't been happening to me, but don't just tweet out that you want to be randomly friends with a certain content creator, especially if that content creator is female, because that is like really, really fucking creepy. Like, oh my gosh, you can't force friendship, okay? So that's my fucking tea. But
I completely understand that because I have trust issues with people.
Yes,
and
same.
I found that whenever I do make a long-lasting friendship, my biggest fear is that I'm going to somehow fuck it up in one way or another, and then I'll have to break off that friendship, and then I'll be depressed and lonely, and then I'll have to find new friends and shit. It's happened to me multiple times in my life, but
and I also grew up in the 90s where I would go onto chat rooms, and men were literally trying to get me out of the house and have sex with me. So like, yeah, that's what chat rooms were back in the 90s or whatever. So like I do have trust issues, right? With people, that was probably too much personal information. But like, yeah, I have knee-jerk reaction. So like, don't take it personally.
It's also a question of like, in certain cases, like, is this person willing to be your friend because they want to get something out of you, like a personal business relationship, or is this somebody that you're willing to invite after like work and like, hey, let's go to a bar and let's go to a Dave and Buster's and like game or something? I don't know.
And like, I have a lot of like different levels of like relationships with people, and like I think nothing less of people. Like I have like a lot of fellow content creators that like we get along great, and like we'll talk and it's great, and I don't think anything less of them, but I don't think of them as quote unquote friends that I would die on a hill for.
Yeah, honestly, like
I have just
yeah, because like, okay, I love you guys, but a couple years ago, I probably wouldn't consider you guys friends at the level we are now, because I knew nothing about you, Spring, like up until like this decided to become a thing.
And that's fair.
Spirit, I didn't really get to know you all that well, aside from like, hey, this person has a really cute OC. Also, they bought a thing for me at the BronyCons.
And I'm not offended at all by that, because I also knew nothing about you. Right?
That's kind of the thing, is that like, okay, like I don't mean to grab the brain cell for a hot minute, but
no, here you go.
You haven't been able to talk a lot, so yeah, take the brain cell.
Okay, I take the brain cell. But like, here's my experience, and I think Spring, you and I are on the same page when it comes to trust issues and everything like that, especially with all that happened in 2020. But like,
gosh.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, don't open that door, okay?
That door is closed and we are done with it.
So many locks.
But what was the point I was trying to make? What were we talking about a hot minute ago?
We're talking about friends and trust issues.
Yes. Okay. So here's my general ruling of if someone is a friend for me, is that if I'm actively seeking to like, and this is the thing, I'm not great about like going into DMs with people all the time, but if I'm actively like, if I'm either actively talking to you, or if I'm like, hey, do you want to do this, or hey, do you want to hang out? Like, obviously, it's not all the time, because I'm a workaholic who doesn't know how to stop working, and sometimes my friends have to pull me away from it. But if I immediately, like, if someone messages me and they see me almost immediately typing to respond, then it's usually a clear indicator that I'm a friend. But it's also at the same time, it's just like, and this is just a tiny tangent rant, but I hate when people come into my DMs, because my DMs are open for business only on Discord, with the exception for friends. And it's just like, people come into my DMs and they'll get either really personal or they'll just say hi.
I hate that, especially with like fucking DeviantArt. People will just randomly note me and just say hi. And then I just immediately delete it, because it's like, you know, not only are you trying to waste my time, what are you even expecting out of this?
Mm-hmm.
I need to know what you need from me. Like, yeah. Hello. Like, write me a letter, okay? Pretend
like,
you're putting it in the mail.
Do it like you're writing a formal email to your boss or something. It's just like, hello, boss, this is what I need from you. This is when I need it from you. Yada, yada, yada. That kind of thing. Like, if you're ever talking to a content creator who you don't know personally, and here's the thing, there's a difference between knowing a content creator from what they show of themselves online versus knowing them personally, because people will take a look at the content that a content creator makes and the small little tidbits that they share about themselves, because like I think you guys know this, but I try to make my, like, as a content creator, I try to be personable and approachable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference between that and being actual friends, because an actual friendship is a mutual two-way thing where you and the content creator, you don't necessarily have to be a content creator to be my friend. I have friends who don't do anything and are just cool people. But
Yeah.
you have, like, both of you have to get something out of it. It can't be a one-way thing.
Yeah.
Also, don't try and add me as a friend on Discord randomly.
Yeah.
That's another knee-jerk reaction, and I will reject it instantly.
You do not
Like, I have
need
my
it.
Discord set to only people who are in other servers can add me as a friend at this point, just because I don't like the out of nowhere, like, hi, let's be friends kind of thing, unless they like tag me in or they need me or whatever. Other
Well,
than
Like,
that, it's
if
like,
they
I
need
don't
you for
care.
business purposes, then just like they can contact you on another platform. But the thing
well,
is that like, if they can contact you on another platform, or they're like wanting a commission from you, I don't think Discord is the necessary route to go with that, because you can you can use something like, you can use Twitter, you can have a website with a contact form. Like, if you're just
well,
contacting for commission purposes, then
and my DMs are open on Discord, like fully open, so you don't have to add me as a friend. You can just push the message button and type. So I've literally put it in my commissions, being like, I will not if you try add as friend, I will not I will not accept. I sorry. No friend. We not friend if you want to. You client, not friend. I
Yeah.
sorry.
Mm.
It give me knee-jerk reaction. I can't do.
well, and I guess kind of like cycling into the whole point of this conversation is that I think with the general point of this whole podcast be like, just don't be super personable towards content creators unless they show they're interested in wanting to do that.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
we're being like yeah, I don't know how to fully explain it, but like if we just talk like one or two times, like no.
And like, especially if a content creator, like, if you are sending, I have a personal ruling, is that if you send me a DM that just says hi, or you send me a random DM that like has no point, because I'm a very busy person, I will ignore you. It's nothing against you, but at the same time, I'm busy.
Spirit, what about
Yeah.
that person who thought you had a friendship because they sent you random DMs over and over again?
That's a thing. Oh
Oh,
Lord,
I
we've hit a
haven't.
new level of creepy over here.
I've
Spirit
had
story.
I've had an instance where someone who like I don't know. So I used to, like, back in the day, I had different Discord settings because I was new to Discord, and I basically said, okay, in order for people to DM me, they have to add me as a friend, because I think that's the way that it works usually on Skype, is that you either have to have someone added as a friend, or you have to have a mutual group.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my initial settings, and this person, like, they quote unquote knew me, but they didn't actually know me. So I think they like I think the way that they ended up like finding out about me is because Ty and Daga had a server that I was running for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like not running, but like I was in and I was an admin. But to make a long story short, they thought that we were friends just because I had acknowledged them as like this is another thing too. If a content creator gives you polite conversation, that's not a friendship. And like I consider all of the people in my little corner is kind of like I call them like I don't call them my chidgens, but a chidgen to me is like child pigeon. So it basically means like, okay, this is my little flock of birds. I'm gonna take care of you. That does not mean we're friends necessarily. Like a friendship is, like I said, when I actively seek out to hang out with you, or if I am making a point to talk with you frequently, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, I know that we're friends for sure because I've had some angry, like, outbursts and just some emotional tangent BS that you've actively, like, seeked me out to see if I was okay instead of just like, oh wow, Christy's just being a bitch.
You're my angry bean, and I love you.
Aww. I love you guys too.
Yay, platonic love.
Because okay, another friendship thing. I am so afraid of being angry in front of other people because I fear that their reactions of me are going to be, wow, Christy's a huge bitch. Let's just shun her for life because she was angry that one time.
Hello, fellow angry person.
You're allowed to have emotions.
I guess that's kind of the whole, like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And I don't mean that in the sense of, like, if you're an absolute creep or, like, someone who's just horrible. That's not what I mean, but it's just, like, real friendship is when you have enough trust to confide in each other and realize that they're not a perfect person, which I could go on an entire tangent on how people, like, idolize.
People aren't perfect? What?
I wonder.
Spirit, I thought we were perfect.
Don't get me started about how people try to treat... Like, I've had people try to put me up on a pedestal, and I hate that because I'm not a perfect person. I'm an angry little bean.
Oh yeah, don't call us art gods either. That's just weird. Okay.
Or like,
I like the flattery, but at the same time, it's like, nah, man, I got shit to do. I got like so much more that I have to work on with myself.
I have room for improvement.
Well, like, it's just kind of the whole...
Although I do appreciate the praise, but no.
Yeah.
I am no god.
That's kind of the thing, is that I think at the end of the day, and we kind of talked about this before when we were what was the episode where we were talking about J.K. Rowling and the whole, like, when idols
yeah,
don't meet your idols.
Don't meet your idols, especially for J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, like, that's kind of the thing, is that I think if there's a whole point to be made with this episode is that content creators and people you look up to, it's okay to look up to other content creators and everything like that. It's okay to see them as, like, something to aspire to, but at the same time, don't, like, put them up on a pedestal, or don't, like, especially don't try to become close with a content creator just because it would benefit you, because that's just a parasitic relationship in the making. Like,
yeah,
if the friendship happens, it happens. Don't force it.
Like, if you click and you both like each other, then yeah. But yeah, any final statements before we wrap up for the day?
The one thing we learned in this video is how magical friendship can be.
Yay!
Especially when it's real friendship, alright? Because y'all are amazing and I love you.
I love you too.
And the friends who actually are my friends, you know who you are, but if you're not exactly sure if we're actually friends, well, yeah. Maybe check yourself or ask me before you can, you know.
Please don't come into my DMs and ask if we're friends. You'll give me a knee-jerk reaction. I'm not ready for that.
Okay, yeah, me either. I'm not ready for the confrontation of telling you, no, you're not my friend. You haven't developed that much.
I've given you the criteria to ask yourself.
Here's your
You'll
litmus
know
test.
when you're my friend, all right?
All right, and I still love you regardless if we're at that level or not. Okay, on a platonic level.
Yeah.
Platonic, gotta use that word.
Yeah.
Platonic is a good word, but
it is.
I guess wrapping up for the day. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it around. It supports us and is practically free. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, where we post updates about the show, and the links to all the creators who are in this episode are in the link in the description. So if you want to follow us there, that's where you can find that. Thank you all so much for watching, and this is the ClovenCast signing off.
Bye. Bye.